Hello everyone, how are you? Welcome to day 2 of performance management webinar. I hope the day 1 content went well for you people and it did give you a lot of confidence, and I hope the techniques, the strategies that I discussed last day were useful for you. So guys, let's move on with the day 2 plan. So let's have a quick look what we are required to do in day 2. So day 2 is dedicated for variances, and if we get time at the end, so we will start decision making as well. So we will be covering advanced variances area, that is material mix and yield, sales mix and quantity, and planning and operational. And once again, I will try to discuss the methods through which you can save your time, you can uh, ensure that you're using a better technique, the easy technique to solve the questions. Before I proceed with variances, a quick discussion I need to do over learning curves so that you get to know what you have to do. For this double approach, I will indicate you the question and the video of my previous webinar, so that will help you to actually practice and see through my video that how we are required to work out the learning rate using double approach. So the question is shared company, and I will send you the link. Limitations of learning curve includes learning curve is mainly applicable in labor intensive environment. In fact, it is only applicable in labor intensive environment because learning curve is a phenomenon that is applicable for labors. It is useful in stable conditions, and this is a limitation because if there is some instability in the environment, so it will not be useful in that case, because in order to ensure that the labor learns on a continuous basis, it is necessary that you should have stable environment, because if there is no stable environment, this means labor will not be able to learn. Third, work should be repetitive. Yes, the more you repeat, the more you learn. Fourth, labor turnover is low. So it assumes that the labor turnover is low. Yes, because if labor turnover is high, which means many people are leaving the organization and there will be very less opportunity to learn. So moving towards the next area is very important. Personally, I believe this is very important for section A objective test questions. One should know what impact does learning curve has over different types of budget. So obviously learning curve impact will be on labor budget, yes, directly. Also on overhead budget, when overheads are being absorbed on the basis of labor hours. So whenever overheads are absorbed on the basis of labor hours, so yes, overhead budget will also get affected. Production budget. Now, why? It's very simple. If you consider the impact of learning curve, so this means as the labor learns, so they will produce each unit quickly, and once they produce each unit quickly, so this means they will produce more number of units, and once more units are produced, which means the impact will go towards production budget. So once they are producing more units, production budget will be one that gets affected, and that is why material usage will also be affected because of more production. And once usage gets affected, so purchase of material gets affected as well, because you need to purchase more in order to produce more number of units, because labor is producing them fast due to the knowledge and the experience. Eventually, the impact then goes on to the cash budget, because yes, in a cash budget, we include the payment of material, we include the payment of labor. So if these things gets affected, that is material, labor, so their payments will also be affected, and that means the cash budget will also have an impact because of the learning curve impact. So it's not a minor impact, it's a huge impact, and any organization if fails to consider learning curve impact, this means they should be ready for a severe impact on these budgets. So I hope the significance of learning curve is clear to all of you. Now let's move on with the today's plan, and that today's plan is one that relates to material mix and yield variance first. So let me just give you a quick introduction about material mix and yield. Now, a very famous variance known as material usage variance is a one that you have covered in your previous management accounting exam. And usage variance basically is a one that deals with the material quantity. That is, it actually compares the actual quantity that the company has used, and it compares that with the standard input quantity. This means the quantity that is actually allowed to be used. So it's a comparison between what you should have used, what you should have used, and what actually you have used. So the difference between these two is usage variance. Usage variance indicate the difference between the quantity that has been used and that should have been used. So what we do, this material usage variance is broken down into mix and yield variance. But you need to very clearly understand and for objective test as well, material usage variance will only be bifurcated into material mix and yield variance when the condition is when more than one material input is used. This means you are producing a product, and in that product you require two types of material, three types of material, four types of material. For example, you are producing a cake. So in a cake, you require eggs, you require sugar, you require flour. So these are different ingredients that you actually use in producing a cake. So when more than one material input is used, but this is not the only condition that one needs to satisfy. Along with this, another condition is very important that one needs to satisfy, and that is, I think, very much important, which is material should be interchangeable. So it's not just that you use more than one material input, but it is also important that that material should be interchangeable. Now, what is interchangeable? It's very simple. Interchangeable means that interchangeable means that if you are using one material in a lower quantity, so that lower quantity is compensated by using the other material in a higher quantity. Let me give you a very quick example here. For example, you plan to make tea, and in tea you intend to use milk as well as water. So milk and water basically is are two ingredients that you will be using in producing making a tea. So now the question is milk and water more than one material input? The answer is yes. So first condition is satisfied. Second, are they interchangeable? The answer is yes. Because for example, if you in producing, for example, 1 cup of tea, for example, you are using less milk, you are using lower milk. So to compensate that, you will use higher water. And if you reduce the quantity of milk, I repeat, if you reduce the quantity of milk and you increase the quantity of water, or I should say, if you reduce the quantity of milk and in order to compensate that, you increase the quantity of water, this means these two are interchangeable, which means reduction of one quantity has been compensated by increasing the quantity of other ingredient. So if you reduce milk quantity and you enhance the water quantity, so yes, tea will be you can make tea. You one cannot say that okay, you will not be able to make tea in that case. Yes, you will be able to make tea even if you reduce the quantity of milk and enhance the quantity of water. So interchangeable means that one ingredient if used in a lower quantity will be compensated by other ingredient that will be used in a higher quantity. So yes, you need to remember Friends, when more than one material input is used and the material are interchangeable, then we work out mix and yield, which means we break material usage variance into mix and yield. Kainat Jamal, today's topics are variances. Our focus towards will be variances mainly, and if we will get time, so I will move towards decision making as well. Okay, so I hope everyone can listen me what I'm saying. A quick confirmation: is everyone with me here? Yes, please. A quick confirmation. Okay, yesterday so many students were asking me about the WhatsApp group link. So please, admin, if you can hear me, just share the WhatsApp link. I can still see the WhatsApp link in the chat box. So please just join the WhatsApp group, because the plans that I want to give to the entire webinar students, I've just delayed that one day just because so many students were struggling to get into that WhatsApp group. We are left with few students now because of the limit in the WhatsApp group. So please just quickly join the WhatsApp group so that I can start giving the plans. Now, coming back to material mix variance. Material mix variance is what? Material mix variance and material yield variance is what? So let's now move towards a past paper question, and from that past paper question we will understand what mix and yield variance is, as my focus was yesterday towards more practical things rather than theoretical things. And I did mention at the start of the webinar that we will focus more towards practice. So now I will definitely start with a question, and let's first discuss few things in relation to mix and yield variance. So the question that I'm starting from here is very much visible today, and you can see the question is in front of you. So I'm start reading the question. So everyone be with me. K company produces omega, an animal feed made by mixing and heating three ingredients. So there are three ingredients used. One is alpha, one is beta, and one is gamma. Okay, those who are struggling to join the WhatsApp group, listen very carefully. You can WhatsApp me on my number. On the presentations, I have mentioned the number. So you just send me the number. So later on, I will send you a group invite. The standard material cost for 100 kg of omega, 100 kg of omega is as follows. So you can see here that you are provided with the input of the material, but this input is for 100 kg of omega, which means I would say that 1 unit of omega actually requires 100 kgs of input. Okay. Now alpha 40, beta one would say it's 60, and gamma one would say it's 20. So cost per kg is given to you. Cost per 100 kg of omega is also given to you. So maybe 1 unit comprises of 100 kgs of omega. Now the mixing and the heating process is subject to standard evaporation loss. Okay. Alpha, beta, and gamma are agriculture products, and their quality and price vary significantly from year to year. So I'm just underlining this because this is giving me an impression that as far as the quality and the price of agriculture products is concerned, so this means there is some kind of a variation in them. Okay. Second, standard prices are set at the average market price over the last 5 years. Company has a purchasing manager who's responsible for all pricing and suppliers contracts. So obviously a purchasing manager is the one who is responsible for all these things. The standard mix is set by the finance department. Standard mix is set by the finance department. Okay. The last time this was done was at the product launch, and that was 5 years ago. So this is something alarming that since 5 years you haven't changed your standard mix stand. So that is something, a bit strange. We have the actual information. It says last month 4,600 of kg of omega were produced using the following input, and we can see the actual details. Also, it says at the end of each month, the production manager receives a standard costing operating statement. I'm sure you all know what an operating statement actually is from the company's performance manager. So production manager receives this operating statement. The statement contains material price and usage variances. Okay, so yeah, this includes price, usage, labor rate, efficiency, overhead expenditure, efficiency variances for the previous month. No commentary on variances is given, and the production manager receives no other feedback on the efficiency of the Omega products. Okay, that's fine. Now, let's start with the first part. It says calculate the following variances for the last month. So what are we required to work out is usage, mix, and yield. So the marks are clearly given: 4, 4, and 3. Usage, mix, and yield is what actually we need to find out. So let's start without wasting time. And I'm moving towards my spreadsheet. But before that, I will just show you quickly what the formula of mix variance is and how are we calculating mix and yield. So you can have a quick look here. The formula is actual input in standard mix, actual input in actual mix, then we have quantity variance, standard rate per input material, then we have cost variance. So I'm just putting numbers here just to give you the idea how actually I will be using the formula. So I'm writing here 1, and then I'm writing here 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then 5. So this is the sequence I will actually follow, which means first I will go towards actual input and actual mix. Okay, first I'll find out actual input in actual mix, then I will find out actual input in standard mix, and after that the differences will be worked out. So moving towards the spreadsheet, part A, let me just make it more easy for you to see. So I think it's very much visible. Now starting from the first one is material mix variance, and yes, I will definitely focus on the technique here, that how using spreadsheet you have to solve again and again. I am emphasizing that your examiner constantly complains that students just perform the calculations using the calculators, which is wrong. So don't perform calculations using the calculators. I think it's a big sin if you do, because you are provided with spreadsheet luxury. So please just use that spreadsheet, because you won't get marks in that case. So yes, it's important if you need marks. So it's actual mix in, sorry, actual input in standard mix. Don't try to solve using calculators and then input the numbers. Then we have quantity variance. See how less calculation I will perform. Standard rate, and this is the cost variance. Just follow my methodology. Okay. Now there are 3 products: alpha, beta, and gamma. First, I'm starting with actual input and actual mix, as I mentioned in the numbers here. You can see. So first, let's find out actual input and actual mix by going towards the question. So here we have actual input total in actual mix. In actual mix. So it's simple: 2200. Second we have is 2500. Third we have is 920. I'll use the sum formula is equal to sum bracket open and select everything, just add, because I need to add. So I've selected using the sum formula. I'll press the enter button and I'll get the total. So this is actual input total in actual mix. So this is my actual input in actual mix. Now, if I go back to the formula, it says I need actual input now in standard mix. So this means the input, this is the input, okay? This input is same. As you can see, this input is same, but this input now needs to be converted into standard mix. So I'm converting this input in standard mix. So the input is 5620. Okay, this input is 5620. So this needs to be the same input, and I am converting this into a standard mix. So just see what calculation I will perform here. What is standard mix? It's very simple. Standard mix means actually how much percent of material should be used in the product. So if I go back to the question, you can very simply see I can work out the standard mix, and I just do the calculation here in front of you. uh, I need to work out the mix here. Okay, standard mix is what I need to work out. So it's very simple. For alpha in a product, 40 should be alpha out of 120. Okay, this is standard mix. For beta, it should be 60 in 120. So in 120, 60 should be beta, and 20 divided by 120 should be gamma. So this is your standard mix, this which actually indicates that how much of the ingredient should be in the product. So I can say that, for example, the total input per unit is 120. So out of this 120, 40 should be alpha, which is standard, and 60 should be beta, and 20 should be gamma. So one says should be, which means this is the standard. I can give you a very good example here. Have you ever seen those boxes, spice boxes, where you can purchase spices uh, from anywhere around the world? You get different spices for different food items, right? So for example, if you need to make some kind of a curry, so you bought a spice boxes for that. So that box always usually have a recipe behind that box, and that recipe is a one that tells you that you should use certain ingredient this much, you should use the other ingredient this much, which means 1 tablespoon, 1 teaspoon. So basically that spice box indicates you the recipe, the mix, and that is known as standard mix. So this is the standard mix. So having said that, I now what will do, I need to use this standard mix, and I need to apply this standard mix on my actual input. Okay, so I'm applying this standard mix, that is 40 divided by 120, 60 divided by 120, and 20 divided by 120 on the standard mix, sorry, on the actual input. So you can see here what I'm doing here. It's very simple. I will open the cell is equals to bracket open 40 divided by 120, as you saw before, multiplied by it's very simple, 5620. So you can see this figure 5620, and what I'm doing is that I am using the actual input of 5620, and I have bifurcated that using the standard mix. So I'll just copy this through Control C and will paste into the next two boxes, and I'm getting the same answer. So don't worry, the small change I will make here is very simple. I'll just go back to the question to verify the numbers. So for beta, we require 60, and for gamma we require 20. Okay, so the minor change that I will be making here is I'll just open the cell and will make this 60 for beta, and will make 20 for gamma, and here you go. So now we have worked out what we have worked out. Very simple thing. This actual input, you can see this box, the highlighted box, you can see this highlighted box, right? So what I've done here is that this actual input have been converted into standard mix. So you can see the calculations as well, and this is what we are required to do. Just to give you a proper confidence over this. So let's just add these three and see the sum is how much. So if I add these three, the sum is 5620, which is same as actual input. So I hope this is clear. The actual input has been now bifurcated into standard mix, and you can work out the differences. So let's work out the differences. The first column, yes, obviously we'll use first column first. First column minus the second column. First column minus the second column, and I'm getting a negative answer. As I have inputted the formula, so I just need to copy paste, control C, and I will paste here control V. So once I've done that, so I will be able to see the differences here. And once I will sum these differences together, as you can see, I'm doing that, sum differences together. So the net answer is some different sort of an answer, but doesn't matter. This answer is basically 0 here. So once I just round it off, or just, yeah, this is 0. So you can see this is 0. So this is the indication. If in a mixed variance, the quantity is getting 0, if the quantity is getting 0, so this means it's right. It's going right. Okay. It's if the quantity is getting 0, so this is right. And yes, this is right, as you can see. Now, standard rate, it's simple. 251, 251. I can see the numbers here. 251. I'll multiply the quantity difference with the rate. You can see a simple multiplication formula, and 653. Just copy paste, and I am getting the other answers as well. So you can just cross check. Yes, proper multiplication done. And yes, so let's work out the final answer, and let's apply the sum formula again here. And you can see the sum formula have been applied here. So once I use this sum formula and just work out this, so the answer that I'm getting here is 913.3333, and this answer is basically the answer of material mix variance. So I hope this is clear to all of you, how actually we are supposed to work out the answer. So it's 913.33. Now by looking at the formula, we I think have done the right workings, and everything is clear. So now I just want to discuss how to copy paste. Mohammed, I can't see your complete name. It's very simple. Control C is on your keyboard. For copy, Control C, and wherever you need to paste it, so you can use function of Control V, and just then press the enter button. So you will be able to paste that figure. Okay. So now it's very simple. Done with the workings. If you need to just make some boxes and borders, so that is all possible. But this is Microsoft Excel. Remember, the platform that I used yesterday is a one where the options are limited, but still using that also you can even use these borders. So you can see this is material mix variance. Now I'm going towards the area of theory in order to discuss the positives and negative aspects. So material mix variance could be favorable, or material mix variance could be adverse. So now let's quickly discuss what favorable and adverse means. So it's very simple. Remember, mixed variance is what? Mixed variance is a difference between standard mix and actual mix. Okay, if you say what is the definition, so I would say mixed variance is a difference between standard mix and actual mix. So it's a difference of mix versus mix. Now it's very simple to understand. As you can see here, the actual mix that we have used is 2200. Okay, but according to standard we should have used we should have used 1873. So in actual, we have used more, and when you have used more in actuals, which means you have used more quantity, and when you have used more quantity, obviously this is what? This is adverse. Using more material quantity is adverse in quantity wise, and in terms of cost, this is 653. So you can see here that you have used more material quantity. When it comes to beta, so you can see here the actual beta that we have used is 2500 according to actual mix, but how much we should have used according to standard, according to the recipe, how much we should have used. So we should have used 2810. This means we have used this less in terms of actual quantity. We've used less, and whenever you use less quantity, it's favorable. Then you can see here that in third case, you have used 920 actual, which is gamma, 920 actual, but what you should have used according to standard, it should have been 636, which means in actual you have used less again, and when it's less, so this is favorable. So let me just quickly tell you the concept of interchangeable. Come on, listen, interchangeable. I am showing you the question again and again. Whenever I'm using the numbers, I am showing the question. So, dear James, no, yeah, Muhammad Tayyib, I'm showing you the question. So, see now, beta and gamma, together, if you see 310 plus 16.667, beta and gamma have been used less, and in order to compensate this 326 material used less, you have used more what? You have used more alpha. So you have used more alpha in order to compensate the less use of what? Beta and gamma. So you can see beta and gamma have been used less. In order to compensate that, we have used more alpha, and that is why the net difference is 0. So this is interchangeable. Okay. So interchangeable definitely means that you have used certain material in a lower quantity and certain material in a higher quantity. So you can see this is what I am doing. Now, moving forward, what the final figure is the final figure positive or negative? Okay, now listen, first of all, very simple method, very simple. When you get answer in negative, this is adverse. Mathematically this is adverse, and logically also this is adverse, because I just told you you have used more quantity. When mathematically your answer is positive, here you can see positive answer. So mathematically, positive answer is favorable. So you can learn very easily. If the answer is negative, it's adverse. If the answer is positive, it's favorable. This is mathematically. And logically, if you see, so it's very simple that you have used lower quantity. And whenever you use lower quantity, it's what? It's favorable. Okay. So mathematically, you can even figure out whenever the answer is positive, that this is favorable, and whenever the answer is negative, this is adverse. But logically as well, the same result will come when you have used more quantity, as you can see in case of alpha, so this is adverse, and as you can see in beta and gamma, you have used less quantity, so this is favorable. So what is the final answer? Is the final answer positive or negative? 913 positive or negative? So it's favorable, and when it's a positive answer, it's favorable. So 913 is favorable. Mathematically 913 is favorable, but what reason you need to learn for this? What reason you need to learn for this? Why this is favorable? Okay, math wise agreed. When positive, it's favorable. But what reason is for favorable? So let's go back to our handout and see. When the mixed variance is favorable, it means cheaper material has been used more and expensive material has been used less. So keep this in your mind. Cheaper material used more and expensive material used less. So let's have a look here quickly. You see, out of the three, out of the three, which is the most okay, out of the three, which is the most expensive material? Okay, the most expensive material. Is this the most expensive? Yes, I'll write here most expensive. Okay, most expensive material. So you can see the expensive material has been used what? More or less. So expensive material has been used less because it's favorable, have been used less. So expensive material has been used less. And that is why you are having a saving here. And that is why you are having a saving. This 1550 is a saving for you. Are you getting the point? This 1550 is a saving. So the expensive material have been used less, and that results in a saving. On the other hand, you can see the cheaper material. The cheaper material is this one. Alpha. Alpha is a cheaper material. Yeah. So the cheaper material, alpha, adverse means what? More use. So we have used more alpha. So we have used more alpha, and when you use more alpha, so being cheaper, okay, one would say it is a cheaper material, but you have used more alpha, more alpha. So you have incurred additional cost. You have incurred additional cost. But don't you think the saving is of a greater amount compared to cost? The saving of 5 is much greater than the additional costs that you have incurred for alpha. Okay, so it's simple and very obvious that when expensive material has been used less, so that results in a saving of a greater amount, whereas the cheaper material has been used more, that results in additional cost. But as the expensive material has been used less, so that provides you a bigger saving, and this is the saving. So this 913 is a saving here, and this net saving is because, very simple, expensive material have been used less, whereas cheaper material have been used more. So whenever it's favorable, guys, remember cheaper material will be used more and expensive material will be used less, and that results in a favorable material mix variance. I hope this is clear to all of you. When it's adverse, it's vice versa. So let's look at the vice versa. If adverse means, what is the vice versa? So in case of adverse, it will be cheaper material used less and expensive material used more. So when you use expensive material more, so that results in more cost, and you use cheaper material less, so that provides you a saving. But again, the net cost is what makes this adverse. So I hope this is clear. The reason for favorable here and favorable reason I can easily show. Expensive was beta, have been used less, and cheaper was alpha, has been used more. Now, after discussing this, let's move towards the next variance, and that variance is a yield variance. So see how less time will I waste on yield variance and would work out that in a very fast way. So see what I'm doing. Come on, be with me. Do look at the workings. It will not take much time. So I'm just doing one thing. I'll just copy paste the entire working. I'm doing the entire working here, and you can see I've just copy pasted the entire working, and you can see everything is here. Now I will make the necessary change, but before that I will move towards the formula sheet to see what formulas do I need to follow for yield. So you can see for yield it says standard input in standard mix, actual input and standard mix, quantity variance, standard rate, cost variance. So this is exactly same. So what first thing I'm going to do? Listen everyone. This is very simple. First this, then this, then, then, and then this. Now, if you observe, so this and this is same. Wow, this is same. This and this is same. So using spreadsheet, you can save a lot of time, a lot of time. See the technique. This is same. So you already have done the working for this first column of mix, which is exactly same as the second column of yield. Okay. So what I can do is I can just copy paste the stuff of this here. The first column of mix is same as the second column of yield. So one thing is very simple. Let's rearrange the formula. Let's make the necessary change. Standard input in, actual input in standard mix. And you can see, let me just highlight this. These are same. So let's copy paste the stuff. Yeah. Copy, paste. See, copy paste because this is same. Wow, so easy. Copy paste. So done with this one. Just copy, Control C and paste, Control V. That's it. Okay. Second, let me just change the name of the variance. Otherwise, you will think that I'm still working the same one. It's yield. Now, as per the formula, the second is standard input in standard mix. Okay. So standard input in standard mix. So let me make this standard input standard mix. So how do we calculate this? Standard input and standard mix. So it's very simple. If you just need to know the formula, so I can just let you know what the formula should be. It's a very simple formula, that is standard kg per unit multiplied by actual units. So do remember this formula, that if you need to work out standard input and standard mix, so it's a very simple formula, which is standard kg per unit into actual units. So I can just use this one and do my workings. Now for that I need what? I need standard kg per unit. So do I have that? Yes, I do have. You can see here, let me just rub these things and let's make this clear. So yeah, these are the standard kgs per unit for alpha, beta and gamma, standard kg per unit. And the only thing I need is actual units. So right now, do I have actual units? The question is, do I have actual units? Yes, guys, what do you think? If I just go towards the actual information, so it says 4600 kgs. So we do have kgs actual, but not units. So I need units. So is it difficult to work out units? Not at all. I have 4600 kgs. Mohammed Munam, I cannot understand your question. So 4600 kgs is the output and I need to work out units. So it's not difficult. 1 unit of omega contains 100 kgs, right? 1 unit contains 100 kgs. So if 1 unit contains 100 kg and if we have produced 4600 kgs, so if I divide 4600 kgs with 100, so I will get the actual units. And what will be the actual units? It's simple. We can work out the actual units here. So 4600 kgs is the output and 1 unit requires 100 kg. So if I divide 4600 with 100, so the answer that I will get, let's work out the actual units. 4600 divided by 100. So it's 46 actual units. 46. Actual units. Yeah, you can work out yield total method as well, but just wait for a minute and see how quickly I can work out this. How quickly I can work out this. Okay, so 4600 is the actual units that I worked out for this question, and yeah, this is simple. Actual is 4600, and 1 unit uh, requires 100 kg of output. So keeping this in mind, 4600 units is what we have made. No, it's not necessary to write adverse favorable with every reason. I was just explaining, that is why I did. Can we count loss of material? Mohammad Yasin, this is the trick I have done. I have used the input method of yield variance, and when you use input method of yield, so you ignore the losses. So yeah, this is what I've done here. Okay. No, Francisco, 120 kg is the input here. What I'm doing is I'm saying that 4600 kg is the output kg, right? And output, and 1 unit requires 100 output kgs. This means 46 units we have prepared here. Okay, so now it's all done. Let's apply the formula. Standard kg per unit, 40 for alpha, into units, 46 units. Automatically you'll get the answer. See, automatically the magic is again happening here. 60 kg of beta into actual units of 46, and 20 kg of gamma into 46. And see, done. I didn't have to do anything else. And the answer is in front of you. So this is what I love about spreadsheets. So the only thing I did was 40 standard input into 46 units, 60 into 46, 20 into 46, and everything was already done as I copy paste from mix, and I will get the answer. So it's very simple. Now mathematically, see, mathematically, when answer is in minus, it's adverse. So this is adverse. This is adverse. Simple. This is adverse. When it's minus, mathematically it's adverse, and logically also it's adverse. See why logically now? Very simple. Actual input that we have used is 5620, and what we should have used is 5520. So see, compare. What you have used is 5620 for producing the units, and what you should have used is 5520. Now can you compare and tell me, did we use more or less? So it's simple. We have used more by 100. So we have used more. See? So 5620 has been used, and 5520 should have been used. So the answer is 100, and this answer will never be zero. Never be zero, because the input is different, and this is input versus input. See? Input versus input. So input versus input, because here mix is same, standard mix and standard mix. So it's input versus input, will never be zero, and you've used more by 100, and when you've used more, so it's adverse. So it's very simple. This is adverse by 100. More quantity used, adverse by 100, and will never be zero. So quickly, let me just tell you, mixed variance. See, actual input. So input is same in mix, which means mix results because of difference between what? Standard mix and actual mix. So mixed variance is the difference between standard mix and actual mix. This is the uncommon thing. Input is same. When you come to yield, so in yield, you see common is mix. Standard mix here as well. Standard mix here as well. So remember, whenever things are common, the difference is not of that common thing. Okay. So the difference is because of what? Standard input versus actual input. So it's standard input versus actual input. Then this is the difference. So mixed variance deals with the mix difference, whereas yield variance deal with the difference of input that should have been used and that has been actually used. Yeah, yield means output. Yield means output, but you can even work out using input method. I know yield means output, but I've used input method here of yield. And when I use input method of yield, it gives me a good opportunity to skip the losses. So I can skip the losses by using input method. So that is why I use input method. I hope Dominica, it's clear. Okay. This is adverse, and you have seen how quickly I've worked out. Now let's move back to the variances reasons. So it's adverse. So let's see why this is adverse. What are the reasons? Number one, poor control over production process. Yes, this results in more wastage, and more wastage means more input would have been required. Okay. The other reason could be cheaper material is used more, expensive material is used less. Now this reason could be a one, and let me just quickly tell you, if cheaper material has been used more and expensive material has been used less, so this can encourage more wastage. Okay, so this can encourage more wastage if uh, cheaper material has been used more and expensive used less. So one would say, okay, this can result in more wastage, and more wastage means that more input has been required. More input has been required, and that's why the input increase. So the two reasons could be for this 100 more input, could be poor control. That is why wastage increased and input required was more. And second, could have been cheaper material used more and expensive used less. So this could also be the reason because of which wastage could increase, and that's why more input would have been required compared to what it should be. So these are the reason for variances, and this is the calculation of mix and yield. I've used the input method, and this saves time. As you can see the way I've worked out, so I just need to copy paste the main stuff and would work out the yield variance. Now you need practice so that you get to understand what actually I've done. Last thing that I need to discuss before I move towards the next is the concept of interdependence. What is interdependence? So there is interdependence. There may be, not is, there may be interdependence between mix and yield. There may be interdependence between mix and yield. So you do need to keep this in your mind that there is a good chance of interdependence, and the best way to find out interdependence is just have a look. One is favorable, one is adverse, and the reason should be same. So if one is favorable and the other is adverse, and the reason behind one being favorable and one being adverse is same, or I should say, because of the same reason, if one became favorable and one became adverse, because of the same reason, if one became favorable and one became adverse, so there is a high chance of interdependence. So let's see, does there chance of interdependence? Let's have a look. Is mix favorable? Yes. Is yield adverse? Yes. So one condition is fulfilled. One is favorable, one is adverse. This is the easiest way to check interdependence. This is the easiest technique to check interdependence. Are you all listening me, everyone? Are you all listening me? So One is favorable, one is adverse, but this is not enough. The reason should be same. So let's have a look. Why mix is favorable? So if I go back and just try to rub these things, why mix is favorable? So for mix, there is just one reason. For mix, there is just one reason. And the one reason is cheaper material would have been used more and expensive would have been used less. And because of this, there is a high chance that more wastage will arise. Okay, more wastage will arise. And if there is more wastage, so one would say this will have an impact on yield. So this is the same reason, this is the same reason. So one is favorable, one is adverse, and the reason behind these two is same. And when the reason behind these two is same, so there is a high chance, I'm saying chance, of interdependence. This is one new innovative method that I've invented to find out interdependence, and you can use every time between different variances. And that is, what is the rule, guys? Come on, tell me. One should be what? Come on, write it. One should be what? Favorable. Second should be what? Adverse. And the reason behind these two should be what? Same. If the reason is same, there is a high chance. Write it. Come on. High. Just write the word high chance. There is a high chance of interdependence. Are you all listening me? So yes, there is a high chance of interdependence. Okay. So there's a high chance of interdependence, but when there is both favorable, when there are both adverse, so in that case there will be no interdependence, right? If both are favorable or both are adverse, so you can see here that this is an area where there is high chance of interdependence. That is, one is getting favorable and it is making other adverse. Interdependence means what? One is making favorable, one is getting favorable because of the reason, and it is making other adverse. So there is a high chance of interdependence. So yes, this is interdependence. Now, the next part of this question was to work out yield variance. So as I mentioned, that yield is basically the further bifurcation of mix and yield. So one would say, okay, it's very simple. If you need, sorry, I beg your pardon, usage variance. If you need usage variance, one would say, okay, it's very simple. Just net off mix and yield. That's it, and you will work out. Just net off these two. Just net off. And this is usage. And the answer is favorable. Just net off these two and you'll get favorable. No, this is not required in section C. Had it been section A, had it been section B, you could have done that. You could have done that for section A and B, because in that there is no calculation required. But when this is section C, you cannot just net off these two. You cannot just net off these two. So you have to show the calculation. So let me give you a quick idea, a very good idea. You need to understand the easiest method. Come on, first, people just let me know, are they interested in understanding? Then I should make an effort. If you're not interested, then I should not. Come on, say, you need to understand the easiest method. People are not responding, not interested, right? You are. So let me tell you a very quick shortcut method, and don't tell anyone, please. Okay, this is a secret, right? Please don't tell anyone. So it's a very simple method of calculating usage variance, because you are awarded with 4 marks. There are 4 marks available for this. How can you just net off? So to show the working. So best way is, remember. And what's that way? Let me just make this fill. Okay, what I've done is I've just copy pasted the format of mixed variance. Just copy pasted the format of mixed variance. Now, the secret is what? Use the first column of second column of mix. What? Write it down. Use the second column of mix. Second column of mix. See, I just copy paste that. Use the second column of mix. Okay. And the first column of yield. The first column of yield. Use the second column of mix and the first column of yield. See the magic, guys. Magic done. Magic done. The answer is 580. Liked it? Hardly how much time this took? Hardly seconds. See, it's the same answer. Come on. What do you think? Good technique. Yes, guys, good technique. So, it's very simple. It's very simple. First column of mix, first column of mix and second column of yield. That's it. So you can just copy paste first column quickly and you can just copy paste the second column of yield, and here you go. The answer is 580. So this minimizes your time, and yes, I hope you like this. Come on. What do you think? It's good or not? No special feedbacks for me right now. I think people think, okay, no, this is a normal thing. Any special feedbacks? Okay, let me show it again. See, first column of mix. Sorry, my mistake. First column of mix and the second column of yield. Sorry. I'm saying the other way around. The second column of mix, I just got excited, second column of mix and the first column of yield. Okay. Second column of mix and first column of yield is the secret to find out usage variance using this spreadsheet. Yeah, I just got excited. Okay, so friends, I hope this is clear. The trick is clear. First column of yield and second column of mix will give you usage variance in a very short period of time. So I hope this is clear. Now, let's move back to the next part. Discuss the problems with current system of calculating and reporting variances for assessing the performance of production manager. Now, friends, the theoretical part. And I love theory, yeah? When it comes to theory, I love theories. I love to make things easy for you people. So, let's go back to our presentation. This is the question. So, what is the examinable verb? Yesterday, I did introduce verbs and objects. What is the verb? The verb is discuss. What is the object? The object is problem. But what problem? Problem with the current system of what? Calculation and reporting variances. This is the object. If you are not understanding the object in the right way, my friends, I am afraid you cannot write in the right direction. So discuss the problems with current system of calculating and reporting variances for assessing the performance of production manager. So is this is knowledge based or application based? What do you say? Knowledge based or application based? Knowledge or application? Come on, reply everyone, be very fast. Application or knowledge? Application or knowledge? Just write it app. This looks cool, app. Knowledge or application based? So this is application based because you have to discuss the problems with the current system of calculating and reporting variances according to scenario. Okay, now listen what I'm saying. Paragraph. Listen, in variances, there are two types of question that can come for theory. This is my expectation. Okay, one, to assess the performance of managers. This is a very common question that comes in variances, to assess the performance of the manager. Right now, this is not the question. I'm telling you a very big insight, a secret of the examiner. This is my observation. The variance theory question, which is tested a lot in the exam, is a one where you're required to assess the performance of the manager, like purchase manager, like production manager, like sales manager. Okay. Right now, is this a question of assessing the performance? The answer is no. Right now, this is not the question of assessing the performance of the manager. The second type of a question that can come will be entirely case study based. The question would have created a story, and that story is a one that you need to read and find out the things. So this is the common question that comes a lot. Assess the performance of the manager. Even though for this you also refer to the case, but this is a predictable question that comes a lot in variances. You have seen a lot of questions like secure net, like truffle company, like school uniform company question. You can see crumbly cakes. You can use safe soap company. There are so many questions where you see the assess the performance of this manager. But this other type is a one where examiner can make any story and ask you. So this is basically the second type, where you are not required to assess the manager's performance. Look at the object. The object is discuss the problems of calculating and reporting variances. It's not about assessing the performance of the manager. It says discuss the problems for calculating and reporting variances. Those are used for assessing the performance of the manager. So many would write about performance of the manager. No, you don't have to judge the performance in this question. This question is a special case, a special what you call requirement of the examiner, where the examiner is asking not to discuss the performance of the manager, rather tell about the problems for the calculation and reporting of variances that are used for assessing the performance. I hope you are getting my point, what I am trying to emphasize. Are you getting it? So this is the common requirement of the examiner. But recently what I've seen, examiners has changed a bit and have started asking something different as well. So this is the different part that I just mentioned. I hope this is clear. This is a secret that I just told you. There are two possibilities that can come in the examination as far as the theory is concerned. The common is assessing the manager's performance, and the uncommon is the one that you can see something like this. Okay, now let's go to the scenario and search for the content, as this is application based. Problems. Quickly, I'll solve this in 2 minutes. First of all, production manager I need to keep in mind. Quality and price variances significantly vary. This means they change. And this means if they change, so the impact will be on variances. And by looking at the question, the company hasn't changed certain things like mix. But if you see, they set prices at an average market price, which is average. This is average. So as the price changes a lot, there would be many times production manager will or should not be answerable for it, because significant changes in prices means that this is something outside the control of the production manager. So this is the problem of the current reporting system. That is, the reporting system does not accounts for planning and operational variances that we learned today. Again, the system does not accounts for planning and operational variances, because planning variance do highlight the planning errors, and because of significant changes in the prices, one would say that okay, there could be some planning errors. So we can't see anything in relation to planning and operational, and this means if price changes, blame is going towards the production manager, so he will be demotivated. Second, the standard mix is set by finance department, which means production manager has no input in mix, and if the production manager has no input in mix, how can you assess his performance? Because this will be something outside his control. So no input in mix. See, this is all scenario based. First point came from the scenario. Second point came from the scenario. No input in mix. Plus, this standard hasn't been changed since 5 years. So this is an outdated standard. This is the third point. This is an outdated standard. And if this is an outdated standard, you cannot assess the performance. How can you assess a performance using outdated standards? So this is creating difficulty in assessing the performance. This is a flaw of the reporting system. And 3 points I've highlighted in front of you: the price point, the mix point, and the mix hasn't been changed. Moreover, operating statement is given to the production manager. He receives this operating statement, and that includes material price variance. Wow. Why he be responsible for material price variance? Production manager is not responsible for material price variance. How can you how can you say production manager should be responsible for this? This is out of his area. So this is wrong. This is the fourth point. Then no commentary on variances is given. No feedback is given. No commentary, no feedback, no reasons, no feedback given, which means manager will never know what happened, what was the reason, who is responsible for the factors that are outside the control of the production manager, as you are not providing him anything about that, no feedback given. So how you can assess his performance? So if you see, my answer is to the point. I'm not assessing his performance. I'm not commenting about favorable adverse variances. The question says, discuss the problems with the current system of calculating and reporting variances. So the problem number one, if someone asks you what is the problem, what you would say? You would say problem number one is your prices vary, which means the right standard will be difficult to achieve, or you need to change the standard again and again, or there should be some planning operational variances because things are outside the control of production manager due to frequent changes. This is the first problem. What is the second problem? The second problem is that standard mix has been established by finance department. If finance department is setting the standard mix and manager has no input to this, and if they set some high mix standard, and if they set some wrong mix standard, so production manager should not be held responsible for that, because there is no breakup of planning and operational. This is the second point. Third, standard is an old dated standard. How can you assess performance on an old dated standard? Fourth, price. In an operating statement, you see price variance. So what What concern production manager has with price variance? He is not responsible for price variance. So why are you showing him price variance? Price variance should be the responsibility of purchase manager. Purchase manager should be responsible for price variance, not production manager. 5, you are not giving him any commentary on the variances. You are not giving him any feedback. How will he able to gauge whether he has done good or bad? Because if there are certain factors which he cannot control, and he is not aware of that. So these are the problems in the system, my friends. And you can see those 5 points. Number 1, raw material price variance is the responsibility of purchase manager. Number 2, no participation in setting the standard mix, no input. Number 3, no use of planning variances. Because if things are not in his control due to price changes, why he should be responsible for that? Number 4, the standard mix hasn't been changed, outdated standard. Number 5, no feedback, no commentary to understand true picture. 5 points from the scenario. Are you getting my point? 5 points from the scenario. Yes, Rafe, I do agree. Purchase manager is responsible for pricing and supply contracts. But then why are you providing operating statement to the production manager? Why? All above points mentioned will either demotivate managers and will not encourage them to control cost. So, yes, all these will be demotivating for the managers. So, production manager will feel unfair about it and say, okay, this is wrong. This is something wrong going with me. Yeah, this is a problem, definite problem. So see, everything has been extracted from the scenario. This is what I want you to teach. This is what I want you to learn. Link with the scenario. This is application based. If you are writing the performance of the manager, like favorable variance, like adverse variance, you are wasting your time because this is not that question. Yeah, I do agree. Very commonly examiner asks about performance assessment, but this is not the question. Yes, 9 marks are enough. You have to write in a paragraph form. You have to write in a paragraph form. These are just bullets for the understanding. Write in a paragraph form, write in a detailed way. These PPTs have been included today. You can check today, you will get these PPTs. These are attached. Plus, I've shared the PPT on the WhatsApp group as well. So, this is enough. You have to write in a paragraph form. And yes, once you will discuss these, because the verb is discuss, my friend, the verb is discuss. So you will discuss this in a paragraph form. Automatically things will be covered. These are just bullets for your understanding. Never write in bullets. Never write in bullets. No, examiner prefers things in a paragraph form. I hope I made this clear. And what's your feedback? Did you understood the way I handled calculations on spreadsheet and the theory part? Always break a question. Always in a question, find out verb and object. This is the key. This is the key to success. Always find 2 things in a question. Are you listening? Always find 2 things in a question. Number 1, verb and object. Verb and object. Secondly, see whether question is a knowledge based one or what? Or application based one. Knowledge based one or application based one. Always ask 2 things yourself. What you need to ask? Verb and object. And second, whether the question is knowledge based or application based. So when it is a knowledge based question, you don't have to link with the scenario. Be general. Write bookish knowledge. But when it is application based question, so apply the knowledge in the scenario. Apply the knowledge in the scenario. What we do in knowledge base, you just write the knowledge. Like for example, I'll give you an example today. Through the next question, I'll give you an example. What is knowledge base? Okay, I will give you the example of knowledge base in the next question. Yeah, I will. Okay, that's good. So I hope this is clear. And Yes, it's time to move towards the next area, and that is sales mix and quantity. So sales volume variance is broken down into sales mix. Sales volume variance is broken down into sales mix and quantity. When conditions, listen conditions. When a company sells more than one product and those products are interchangeable. For example, a company produces tea and as well as green tea and green tea. Now, a company produces tea and also produces green tea. So this means more than one products are sold. Yeah, this is clear. Second is, are they interchangeable? Yes. If the demand for tea will increase, the demand for green tea will go down. So if the company is able to sell less number of green teas, this will be compensated by selling more number of teas. More number of teas? No. Toothpaste and toothbrush is not interchangeable. Mehran, it is not interchangeable. These are complement products. I'm talking about here that if the sales of one product goes down, this will be compensated by selling the other product more. Like if the sales of green tea go down, the company will be able to sell more teas. So yes, this is important. Interchangeable means the sales of one, the reduction in sales of one is compensated by selling the other product more. And yes, this is the condition. So if more than one products are sold and those are interchangeable, then volume variance is broken down into mix and quantity variance. So friends, let's not waste time and move towards sales mix and quantity and just have a look that how we can see. Yeah, I just explained about yes, I will give you example, another example. Wait, let's move towards the question and then I'll give you the example of interchangeable further. So now, friends, we are moving towards a very good question, and that is of valid company. So we'll read the scenario later on. I'll teach the theoretical part of this question as well, and we'll make it really clear for you people that how to handle such a thing. Let's not waste time and move towards the calculative part first. Using the data provided for full valids and mini valids, calculate sales mix contribution and sales quantity contribution variance. So I'll just read few things right now, and those are a valid company offer two type of valids, a full valid and a mini valid. So let's see what valid is. Full valid is an extensive clean of the car, and mini valid is a more basic clean of the car. That's it. Then valid company charges 50 for each full valid and 30 for each mini valid. So these are the prices. And then we have budgeted and actual information, where we have number of full and mini valids, budget and actual, and we have CS ratio, contribution to sales ratio of 44.6 and 55 for mini valids. It's time to work out the sales mix contribution variance. So the sales mix contribution variance, yeah, Rayan, because things, what do you think? If we understand things in a detailed way, that helps us to solve other questions more easily. So yeah, this is something that helps you later on, and this will definitely. Now you can see this is the question. So let's work out sales mix variance first, And for that, I will be using the formula. It says actual sales in actual mix, actual sales in standard mix, unit variance, standard profit or contribution, and profit variance. So I will follow the sequence here, and the sequence will be actual sales in actual mix, then this, this, and this. So let's start first with actual sales in actual mix. In this question, standard contribution per unit. So the answer that we will be getting is a contribution variance. Okay, now actual sales in actual mix is pretty much clear given in the question, which is these two, full and mini wallets. And figures are 4,03980. So this is the actual number that I've used here. I hope this is clear. Let's add these two. This is 7980. Okay, so this is actual sales in actual mix. Now what I'm doing is I will convert this actual sales into standard mix. So it's not difficult. Let's work out the standard mix. And it's the same thing. In fact, I can do the calculation here. So according to budget, we should have sold full wallets 3600 and milli wallets 2000. So if I add these two, this makes 5600. This means from 5600, 3600 should be full wallet. So this is the standard mix. And from 5600, 2000 should be mini wallet. So this is standard mix. Okay. So this is standard mix. I hope this is clear. Standard mix, how I worked out standard mix. So out of the total, 3600 should be full and 2000 should be mini wallet. So let's use a formula. 3600 out of 5600 should be full wallet. This is standard mix multiplied by actual sales. So here we go. Just copy paste this and change here and make this 2000. So the answer now will be mini wallet here. So this is what I've done. Actual sales have been multiplied with standard mix, and same I've done here. Actual sales multiplied by standard mix. So let's add. Hamza, you can ask question using the chat box. It's available. I can see the comments. If I add, so this will become 7980. Hope this is clear. Okay, then the difference minus plus, simple. When the minus answer is in minus, so mathematically it's what? Adverse. When the answer is in positive, mathematically it's what? Favorable. So this is in minus, less units sold, more units sold. The sum of these two should be equal to 0. Should be equals to 0. Budgeted sales for standard mix, obviously budgeted sales will give me the idea how much units we should have sold. So we have to take budgeted sales for standard mix, otherwise I cannot. Standard means what? Standard mix, you know what is mix? Standard, budgeted. Okay, So as I've shown in my calculations, 3600 is the budgeted units divided by 5600, 2000 divided by 5600. So out of 5600, 3600 should be full valid. Out of 5600, 2000 should be mini valid. This is standard mix. Okay. Now we are done with this one. If you have questions, do let me know. Then standard contribution. So in the question, we do have information for that. We have selling price of 50 for full, 30 for mini, and the CS ratio is given. This is contribution to sales ratio. This is contribution to sales ratio. So contribution to sales ratio. So I'll apply this 50 into 0.446, and for second one it's 30 multiplied by 0.55. So this is the contribution to sales ratio was given here. I'll multiply this with the selling price and I'll get the answer. So let's multiply. So when answer is negative, mathematically this is adverse. When it is positive, it's favorable. So let's work out the answer. So it's negative, which is adverse. Okay, so I hope this is clear to all of you. Parvez, it's very simple given in the question. You have to concentrate, my friend. It says 50. See, I've even marked it here. And this 30, it's given in the second paragraph of your question. Okay. And CS ratios are also given in the last paragraph. Through, Parvez? Okay. Before I give a break and discuss further things after the break, one answer I need to give, and that question was from one of the students. She said, why mixed variance answer will be 0? Because see the quantity, see it's actual sales here. Let me highlight, and this is actual sales as well. So what actually we are doing is that we are bifurcating the actual sales into standard mix, and that's why the total figure is same. So the net answer should be 0 always. Okay. Why we have used contribution? Because contribution to sales ratio was given. So this is indicative that company is using marginal costing. Whenever company uses marginal costing, we use contribution. When company uses absorption costing, we use profit. So because we were provided with contribution to sales ratio, we have to use that. And along with that, it's written in the question as well, contribution variance. So we'll use contribution. Now let's take a 5-minute break. Sorry, I'm giving a short break. So it's a 5-minute break, and see you after 5 minutes. If you have any questions, do let me know. Okay, so welcome back. So we are done with mixed variance, and you can see uh, mixed variance calculation, standard mix we have worked out. I just showed you the calculation of standard mix using the question. I hope this is clear. Now let's go towards the theoretical areas to just quickly discuss what actually mixed variance indicates. So you can see here mixed variance, the answer that we just got here is an adverse answer. Okay, and mathematically it's adverse. So I will just quickly uh, tell you the reason why this is adverse. But before I move towards this being adverse reason, I will just first want to work out quantity variance as well. So now I'm doing the calculation of quantity variance as well. Before I discuss why this is adverse, mathematically it's clear, but logically I'll explain. Now what I've done is I've again copy pasted the entire stuff of mixed variance, and let me just tell you what changes do I need to make. So for that, first I will move towards the formula, and the formula is actual sales in standard mix, standard sales in standard mix, and the rest three are same. So what's the common here? What's the common column here? So this is common. See, this is common. The first column of quantity is same as the second column of mix. It's very simple. It's very simple. What's your message, Rabia? What's your message? Okay. Sales manager controls the mixed variance. Yes. But there could be factors outside his control as well. Okay. So actual sales in standard mix. This is column 2 of mix, which is same as column 1 of quantity. So what I need to do is copy paste. Copy paste. So let's copy paste the figures as well. Actual sales and standard mix. Just copy paste the figures. Okay, I've done that. These two are exactly same. Now what's the second thing? Standard sales in standard mix. Standard sales in standard mix. What is this? It's very simple. It would hardly take 2 minutes to solve this. Okay, standard sales in standard mix. Now from where I will bring these figures? Standard sales in standard mix. I will bring these figures from the scenario. So it's very simple. In the scenario, you can see standard sales in standard mix is given in the scenario, and these are the figures. So it's 3600, 2000, and yeah, here is the answer. We are done with the answer. We are done with the answer. Okay, that's it. Done. Sales quantity variance done. So do watch the videos later on. It will make really easy for you people. I'm sure. I'm sure. So this is a copy paste stuff. Just copy and paste it here. That's it. This is available in the question. This is available in the question. This is available in the question. Standard sales and standard mix. And yes, the answer is this. So mathematically, again, this is What? When the answer is positive, when the answers are positive mathematically, it is favorable. This is positive, this is positive, and the answer is positive. So this is favorable, which means sales mix is adverse and sales quantity is favorable. So uh, mathematically, yeah, it is given in the question. Mahima, it is given the question. So mathematically, it's favorable and adverse. Now we are moving towards the reasons, and as far as the calculations are concerned, I've done that. Now I'm moving towards the next part, and we'll see what I need to write. Okay, briefly describe sales mix contribution and sales quantity contribution. So this is simple definition, and yes, what do you think? Examinable verb, briefly describe. Object, what is object? Sales mix contribution, sales quantity contribution. These are objects, okay? These are object. Clear? These are object. Now this is knowledge based or application based? Quickly tell. Knowledge based or application based? Everyone, knowledge or application? Yeah, this is knowledge based. Simple. You have to write the definition. Sales mix variance is the difference between standard mix and the actual mix. Sales quantity variance is the difference between standard quantity and the actual quantity. So it's not an application based. This is knowledge based. Knowledge based. Simple. You have to define. You have to use your core textbook knowledge. Core textbook knowledge to draft the answer. So use your basic knowledge. This is knowledge based. Second, discuss is the verb. Verb. The sales performance of the business for the period, taking into account your calculations from part A and information provided in the scenario. Come on, what is the verb? Verb is discuss. What is the object? Object is sales performance. This is the object. This is the object. Okay? Come on, tell me, knowledge based or application based? Everyone, everyone, everyone. Knowledge or application based? Everyone. So less answers. Very much less answers. Everyone, please. Yes, this is application based. Apply your knowledge. So this is for 10 marks. 10 marks. 10 marks. Now, what are we supposed to do here for 10 marks? I'll show you the method to draft very easily. Now listen very carefully, certain things. Make sure you listen this first time. This question is the traditional one that is examined a lot in the paper, where you are required to assess the performance of the managers. So this question is a very common question where you are required to assess the performance of production manager, sales manager, purchase manager. So this question is different to the one that we did before. This is a very common question, and whenever you are required to assess the performance of maybe purchase manager, production manager, I'm giving you a tool, sales manager, guys, then I'm telling you a million dollar concept, sorry, million dollar technique. Whenever you are required to assess the performance of the managers, use a million dollar technique. And what is that? That is crick. That is what? Crick. What is crick? Crick means calculate variance. Number two, find reasons. Third, find interdependence. Interdependence. 4, conclude. Whenever you are required to assess the performance of any manager, $1,000,000 point, use CRIC. Calculate variance, find the reasons, and this should be scenario based. Scenario based. Find interdependence if any, and conclude. Okay, so CRIC will be used when you have to assess the performance of any manager. But the theory question that we did before in the previous question was something else, where we were not required to assess the performance of the manager. So in that question, we did not use CRIC. But question like these, we have to use CRIC. So first of all, are we done with the variance calculation? Yes, we are done with the variance calculation. Now, sales mix variance. We have worked out mix variance, which is 6554 adverse. I'm using CRIC here. I'm showing you the drafting method. Then you will draft, and once you will draft, you will send me the drafted paragraph answer. Okay, you will send me the drafted paragraph answer. This is your homework. Now, then the reason. What is the reason for this being adverse? So let's first understand the basic reason in our presentation. Why a mixed variance is adverse? A mixed variance is adverse when profitable products, more profitable product is sold less and less profitable product is sold more. Which means when high profitable product is sold less and low profitable product is sold more, so that results in mixed variance adverse. Okay, so let's find in the scenario, is the case true or not? So we see this is an adverse. Now, which is more profitable out of the two, full valid or mini valid? Which is more profitable? Quickly you have to tell me. So this is more profitable. This is more profitable. Okay, and one which is more profitable, or I should say high profit, so sold what? Adverse means what? Sold less or more? Adverse means what? Sold less or more? Adverse means sold less. So high profitable product sold less. And this one, second one, it's low profitable. So low profitable sold less or more? So the answer is favorable in terms of quantity and value. It's favorable. Favorable means what? Sold more. So it's clear. This is high profitable, sold less, adverse. More profitable, sold more, favorable. Okay. More low profitable, sold more. Are you getting my point? So now here we we earned less profit by selling this less, we earn more profit by selling this more. So here less profit earned, here more profit earned. Okay, for the final answer is adverse means overall less profit. Overall less profit. Now never think this as a loss. Never think this to be a loss. This is not a loss. This is not loss. This is what? This is less profit than expectation. This is less profit than expectation. Okay, so you can see here actual sales of full was 4,000 and standard was more, so we sold less. Whereas mini valid actual sales is 3980 and we were required to sell 2850, so we sold this more. 11130 units of full valid sold less were covered by selling more mini valid. This is interchangeable. People went for less full valids and more mini valid. This is interchangeable. Are you getting the point? This is interchangeability. When you are selling less full valids and you're covering by selling more mini valids. Interchangeable. That's why the answer is 0. So the profitable was full valid, sold less. Mini valid is less profitable, sold more. So ultimately, in full valid, less profit earned. In mini valid, more profit earned. And overall, less profit than expectation. Less profit than expectation. Okay? I hope this is clear. Hope this is clear. So this is a mixed variance that compares whether we have sold profitable product more or less. Then, second comes sales quantity. 48144 favorable. Let's see what favorable reasons are. Okay. And yes, one thing for sure, the vice versa of this is favorable. Okay. The vice versa of adverse is favorable. So you can easily figure out that. The vice versa. Okay. Now, favorable. Reasons for favorable could be decrease in price. A decrease in price could increase the quantity sold. Yes, this is valid. Second, favorable market condition. A favorable market condition will help to increase the quantity. Yes. Good quality product. Good quality product will help to increase the market. Yes. So you see here, in our answer, see, mixed variance highlighted what? Mixed variance highlighted the mix difference. See, the difference between actual mix and standard mix. Mixed variance highlighted the mixed variance, difference between standard mix and actual mix. And the sales figure was same, 7980 here, and actual sales 7980 here. So mixed variance reflects the mix difference, whereas the sales total is same. The bottom figure is same. So the common thing in mixed variance is the actual sales. And the uncommon thing is the mix. And variance always comes because of uncommon thing. Okay. So I hope this is clear. Now coming towards quantity, it's simple. See what is the common thing between these two. The common thing. So common thing is what? Standard mix. Standard mix. So this means the difference is not because of mix, because mix is common in both. Mix is common in both. So the difference is because of what? Actual sales in terms of quantity versus standard sales in terms of quantity. So it's a difference between actual sales in terms of quantity and standard sales. So look at the bottom figures. In actual, we sold 7980 units. In actual, we sold 7980 unit. And how much was planned? 5600. So quantity variance is a difference between actual sales that you have done and budgeted sales that you should have done. So in quantity, there is nothing to do with the mix, because mix difference has already been highlighted above. So in quantity variance, it's actual quantity versus budgeted quantity. And you can see in the bottom line, we have sold more units. We have sold more units by 2380. So this will never be zero. More units sold. So it's the quantity versus quantity. Look at the bottom figures, 7980 actual, budget 5600. More units sold means what? Favorable. Favorable. So this is favorable because we have sold more units. Are you getting the point? So mix highlights the mix difference where the sales actual remains the same. Are you seeing here? Quantity variance reflects the quantity difference as you see here, and the mix remains the same. Okay, so this is favorable. Now favorable could be because of decrease in price, that is why more units sold, as we just saw. Maybe favorable market conditions, more units sold. Maybe good quality, more units sold. Now these are the basic reasons. So as we are applying crick here, so the basic reasons are the one that you should highlight, and then you link the reasons with the case. Link the reasons with the case. So what I'm doing, I'm linking these reasons with the case. Okay, and I'm sure this is clear that if this is favorable, so vice versa would make it adverse. So this is adverse. Okay, vice versa is adverse. So I know this is clear. So now let's link the reason with the scenario quickly. Quickly. Valeting. Valet Company is a car valeting company. It operates in the country of Australia, which has been badly affected by global financial crisis. Petrol and food prices have increased substantially in the last year, and average disposable household income has decreased by 30%. Recent studies have shown that average car owner now keeps their car for 5 years before replacing it rather than 3 years as previously was the case. Figures over recent years also show that car sales in Australia are declining while the business for car repairs is on an increase. Okay. Valet company offers two valets, mini and full. Full is an extensive clean, mini is a more basic clean. Okay. Until recently, four similar businesses operated in Valet Coast local area, but one of these closed down 3 months ago after a serious fire on its premises. Okay. So now, the reasons that I mentioned here, adverse for mix, favorable for quantity. Now I will create a link of these with the scenario. So starting from the mix. Mix is adverse. Reason, very simple. Full valets. Full valets being more profitable, sold less. Full valet sold less as they are high profitable. Okay. Whereas mini valet sold more, being low profitable. Okay, this was clear. This was clear by our workings as you saw here. Now link with the scenario. Why this happened? Why people are going for more mini than full valets? So the scenario says maybe because the household income has decreased. Because the household income has decreased by 30%. That is why people are preferring more mini valets, because mini is cheaper. Mini is cheaper than full valet. So it's simple. 30% decrease in income. 30% decrease in income is the reason for more sales of mini because it's cheaper and less sales of full. Link with the scenario. See, crick. reason, bookish reason linked with the scenario. This is what you have to learn. 30% decrease in income. Any other reason? It's simple. 30% decrease in income is the reason because of which people are preferring the cheaper option of mini wallets rather than the expensive option of full wallets. That's it. Done. Link with the scenario, because if you just write general reason like this general reason, so that is problematic. Link. Now, this is favorable. So what could be the reason for favorable? Let's first look at the general reasons and let's find a very good link. Come on, you tell me. Are you ready? I would take just 5 more minutes on this answer. Decrease in price is the reason for a higher quantity? Is decrease in price the reason? Come on, quickly tell me. Is decrease in price the reason? Let's make this interactive. Is decrease in price the reason? No, nothing mentioned about decrease in price. Is good quality the reason for high sales? Is good quality reason for the high sales? No, nothing mentioned in the scenario. Favorable market condition is the reason. Favorable market condition is the reason. And I would say that favorable market condition is the reason for high quantity sold. Why? Why favorable market condition? Any link with the scenario? So this is the general reason. Okay. And now I'm linking this with the scenario, understanding what I'm doing. You people just tend to write the general reasons, link with the scenario. This is the crick technique. This is the $1,000,000 technique. So let's create a link. Yes, it's very simple and obvious. People are keeping more cars, which means previously they used to keep for 3 years and now they are keeping those for 5 years. So if you keep for 5 years, more service will be required. So the reason is simple. 5 years instead of 3 years. So more service required. More service required. Link with a scenario. Any other reason? Favorable market condition. Yes. One business closed down. One business closed down 3 months ago. So one business of competitor closed down was the other reason for favorable market condition. I'm not saying that this one business closure will give you the entire sales. Obviously, other people will also enjoy the sales, but yes, this is one more reason. So this is the link that I wanted to explain to you, and this is the crick technique that I wanted to explain. And I will give you the links of previous webinar videos where I've discussed crick in area of mix and yield variance as well. So you can watch those videos, and through this your content will be completed. Okay, so I hope this is clear. I hope this is clear. Crick means calculate, C means calculate, R means reason, I means interdependence, and C means conclusion. So this is the linking I've done. Calculation done, reasons done, interdependence. For interdependence, what is the best rule? Just check, one is adverse, one is favorable, but the reason should be same. But the reason should be same. So even though one is favorable, one is adverse, but the reason is not same here. So there is no interdependence. Reason is not same. Now you need to conclude. So let's conclude. The best way to conclude about performance is to look at the net difference or the figures. Net difference. So if you just work out the net difference, can anyone tell me what is the net difference? 6554 adverse 48144 favorable. What is the net difference? 41590. And this is your sales volume variance because we have bifurcated that, and sales volume is favorable. And when the net difference is favorable, we say the performance is a good performance. So see how easily I've made this clear, that how we have to use this performance assessment. If there is no interdependence, then there is no need to mention it. Okay, so the performance is good, and all this now will be written in a paragraph form. Now your assignment is what? You draft the answer, okay, submit on WhatsApp group, link is given in the message chat box, and then I'll give you the drafted sample answer. Then I will give you the drafted sample answer on the WhatsApp group. Drafted sample answer I will provide you. Okay, so first you draft in a paragraph form, and then I'll provide you. So I hope this is clear. Admin, please share the link. You don't have to write in bullets, Parvez. You don't have to write in bullets, my friend. When there are steps given, then you write in bullets, some kind of steps. Okay, so I hope this is clear to all of you. And did the technique went well? Is the correct technique good? So what is the correct technique? First, calculate the variance, then find the reason. Now, what you have to do in reason? You have to think about the reasons that you have studied in your paper, the reason which are textbook reasons, and then link those with the scenario. Find scenario based, link with scenario. Then interdependence. How to find interdependence? I've told you the best way to find interdependence. One is favorable, one is adverse. But the reason should be what, guys? Reason should be same. If there is, so this is interdependence. And then conclude. So how you conclude, as I just saw, you here, you see, you need to conclude like this. The net answers, if you think net answers are good, so it's good. Otherwise, it's bad. So draft this in a paragraph form, submit me. The mindset is clear. I've showed you here. This is the mindset you have to follow for CRIC. First reasons, then the interdependence and the conclusion. You will submit me the drafted answer. I'll provide you the sample answer that will show you how you have to draft this in a paragraph form. Okay, I will give you the sample answer. I hope this is clear and the CRIC technique works well. Now it's time to move towards the next area, and that is of planning and operational variances. So let's start with planning and operational. Now, planning variances highlights the planning errors, the planning mistakes. I'm just cutting this. This is not required anymore. Just ignore this and also ignore this. Okay. Just remember the two things. Planning variances reflects planning errors. Who plan? Planning team makes the standards. Standards are made by the planning team. Operational variance reflects the real performance of the operational managers. Who are operational managers? Production could be said as an operational manager. Purchase will be set as an operational manager. Sales will be set as an operational manager. These are the people who actually are part of the operations, are operational managers. Those who are planners are people who are part of planning team. Okay. Now, three calculations comes for planning operational: one for material, one for labor, one for sales. Before I move on to the areas, a quick understanding I need to give conceptually. So quickly listen. What happens actually? At the start of the year, this is very important concept, okay? At start of the year, the company makes standards. Standards for, I think I'll be short of space here. So let's write here. Now, what actually happens? Listen quickly. At the start of the year, company makes standards for material price, usage, labor rate, mix, efficiency, everything. And once the actual year ends, we get actual results. Okay, then what we do, we compare the standard with the actual results. And this is what, this is variances, right? This is the concept of variance, comparison of actual with standard. Okay, and we compare this when? At the end of the year. After the actual results, we compare and we get the results, and this is at the end of the year. So we compare, we get variances. I hope this is clear. Okay, for example, the variance came out to be adverse. We called the operational team, for example, purchase manager, production manager, sales manager, and for example, we slapped them. We said, we slapped them. What are you doing? Adverse variances at the end of the year? Are you okay? We pay you so much high salaries, purchase, production, and sales. And they started crying. Just imagine they started crying and they said, we worked so hard. We worked so hard. It's not a mistake. Please just investigate what happened. So investigation was done. And once investigation done, it was found that the standard that we made at the start of the year, for which the planning team was responsible, was wrong. The standard was wrong. The standard was wrong. There is an error in the standard. So when there is an error in the standard, this means this variance is not the right one to assess the performance. So what we do? Now we need to assess the real performance of the operational team. So what we do? We'll break this variance. We'll break this variance into what? Planning variances. This is the concept that people lack. Sorry to say. People just learn the formulas and that's it. And the operational variances. Planning variances and operational variances. You have to watch my previous videos or webinars. You will get further better idea. Planning variance and operation. So you break this variance into two parts. And this is how you find out. For example, if the variance is 2000 adverse, and once you break this into planning operational, so you found that planning variance is 3000 adverse and operational variance is 1000 favorable. So after breaking this variance into two, we don't have to check. Mohammed Munam, we don't have to check. It's given in the paper. Okay. Leave certain things for examiner as well. So planning variance is 3000 adverse and operational 1000 favorable. So if you just net off these two, what you will get? 2000 adverse. So by looking at this 2000, the entire blame was going on operational team. We were blaming the operational team. But after investigation, we found out that standard was wrong. And because of that, we just splitted this actual variance that we have already worked out. We splitted this actual variance into two parts. And once we splitted that, we found out 3000 is adverse, which is because of the planning error. And for this, operational team is not responsible. Not responsible. So they are only responsible for 1000 favorable, and this is their real performance. So this is the concept behind planning and operational, that we work out this operational variance and planning variance after the original variances have been worked out. That is the variances that you have worked out in your management accounting paper. The normal variances, where you compare standard with actual and you work out the difference. So the normal variances that you have worked out in management accounting paper are now bifurcated into two: planning and operational. Planning is the area of mistake. Planning variance indicates the mistake variance, and operational indicates the real performance. So I hope you understood the concept behind this. Is the concept behind this is clear, right? So operational team is responsible for only operational variances and not for planning. And this is how we figure this is the concept behind this. And I hope this is clear. Further, I will share the links so you can watch the previous webinar videos where knowledge was delivered a lot. Right now, our focus is towards practice. So still, I've given you a quick insight of this. So let's go back. Material. Now, what I'll do here is I will make this very easy. See, this is normal formula of material price, material usage. This is the formula that you have covered in management accounting paper F2, which is the original standard price minus actual price gives you price variance. This is the price variance formula. Price variance is the difference between actual and standard price. Usage is original standard quantity allowed minus actual quantity. This is the difference between the standard that you should have used, standard quantity that you should have used and the actual quantity. So as I gave you the concept here, once you found out that there is a problem in this variance, the normal F2 variance, let's bifurcate into planning and operational, which means we will break these into two. That is the price variance. This price variance will be broken down into planning price and operational price. Same, this usage variance will be broken down into planning usage and operational usage. Okay, operational usage. So you can use these formulas to work out the answer. But what I would do here is I will make this very simple. Can you see these red bold words? I hope you can. Let me just rub the rest. Okay. Now can you see this bold red here as well? It's the normal F2 formula, these ones. So if you remember these normal F2 formula, if you remember these, then planning operational is peanuts for you. Peanuts. Yes, I'm telling you $1 million technique. Just wait. Just wait. See, planning variance is what? Original standard. Sorry, let me start from operational. What is operational variance? Revised price, which is the revised standard, right? Because of the planning error, the standard will change. And whenever there is a planning error, standard will change. In case of planning error, standard will always change. Are you getting the point? In case of planning error, standard will always change. So operational is what? Revised standard minus actual. So it's revised versus actual operational. Okay, now comes to planning price. It's original standard that you set at the start of the year and the revised, that is, it should have been what? So this is original versus revised. Original versus revised. Are you getting my point? So planning variance is what? Original standard versus revised standard. Planning variance is a fight between standards. It's a fight between what? It's a fight between standards. Original standard and revised standard that will highlight the planning error because the error was in the standard. And if the error was in the standard, let's compare the two standards. So if you compare the two standards, it will highlight you the error, my friends, because the error is in the standard. So original standard and revised standard difference is planning variance. Wow. Simple. O versus R. O versus R. When it comes to operational, it's what? Real performance, right? We need to judge real performance. So we need actual versus the revised standard, the realistic standard. The standard which is not error based. So judge, it's simple. We need to use what? Shortcut is planning variance is what? O versus R. Original standard versus revised standard. And operational variance is what? R versus A. That is revised standard versus actual. So it's simple, guys. What is planning variance? It's O versus R. Original standard versus revised standard. Whether it is of price, whether it is of quantity. So let's move towards quantity. Material usage. Original standard quantity allowed minus revised standard quantity allowed. See, again it's O versus R. Okay. And for operational, it's what? Revised standard quantity versus actual R versus A. That's it. Done. So you remember these normal F2 formulas, these ones. If you remember these, so after that, it's simple what you know. For price planning, it's original price versus revised price. And for operational, it's revised price versus actual price. That's it. For usage planning, it's original standard quantity allowed versus revised standard quantity allowed. I'll work out, we'll give you the example of that as well. And revised for operational, it's what? Revised standard quantity allowed versus actual. That's it. Simple formula. For planning variances, come on, just tell me. For planning variances, it's what? Original. Planning is a fight between what? Standards, right? Say yes or no. Come on, I need to talk to you people. So for planning, it's what? O versus R. Original standard versus revised standard. And for operational, it's what? Revised versus actual. Come on, you tell me. You believe original standard or revised standard? For assessing the performance of the managers, you believe over revised standard or original standard? Come on, tell me. Revised, right? So if you believe on revised standard, then yes, use revised versus actual. So what do you think? Did this become easier for you or not? If you remember the basic F2 formula, the above ones, these ones, if you remember these, after that it's just peanuts for you. You just learn this F2 formula. That's it. And after that it's just peanuts for you. You need to learn this F2 formula. That's it. And I'm sure you all have given F2. So you do remember this formula. Come on. Did you like this technique? What's your feedback, friends? So if you remember this F2 formula, after that it says just peanuts. People are not replying me. I don't know why. So I hope this is clear. This is for material. Now for labor. Again, these are F2 formula for labor. Labor rate. What labor rate indicates? Labor rate indicates what? Standard rate versus actual rate. What labor efficiency indicates? Labor efficiency indicates what? Standard hours allowed versus actual hours worked. The difference of hours. Rate indicates the difference of rate. Efficiency indicates the difference of hours. So if there is a planning error in rate or there is a planning error in hours, so what we'll do? If there is a planning error in rate, so we will break the rate variance into planning rate, operational rate. If there is an error in the hours efficiency, so we'll break the efficiency into planning efficiency and operational efficiency. Operational efficiency. So whenever there is a mistake in any area, just break that variance into planning and operational. That's it. Come on, guys. Can you see the bold red words? Can you see the bold red words? You are not replying me. Can you see the bold red words? Hello? So let's make original, standard versus revised. O versus R. See how simple? Revised standard versus actual, R versus A. Wow. Same thing. Just remember the F2 formulas and then it's all on the go. For labor efficiency, what's the formula? Original standard hours allowed versus revised standard hours allowed. O versus R. For operational, friends, for operational, what's the shortcut? Revise versus actual. So again, the trick is same. For planning, O versus R. For operational, R versus A. I'm very quickly moving towards another question to just practically show you the implementation and you will say, oh wow, this is simple. So are you all getting my point, friends? It's the same thing whether it's material. It's the same thing whether it's labor. There's no change whether it's material or labor. The same methodology needs to be applied every time. I hope this is clear to all of you. Okay. So now moving towards sales. Yeah. Here I would request you to very carefully listen what I'm saying. Here I would request you to listen very carefully what actually I'm saying. It's sales, right? And in sales, the things becomes opposite. Things become opposite. Yeah, labor efficiency I had just mentioned, right? Things become opposite. Now, these are the F2 formulas of price variance. Actual price minus original standard price. Volume. Actual sales units minus original standard sales units, F2 formula. If there is a mistake in price setting, so the price variance will be broken down into planning price, operational price. If there is a mistake in volume, so volume will be broken down into planning volume, operational volume. We all know if cost increases, if actual cost increases, it's adverse, right, friends? But if actual sales increases, it's favorable. If actual cost increases, it's what? Come on, tell me. It's adverse. But if actual sales increases, it's what? Favorable. So it's the vice versa, right? Hello? Yes or no? So here again, the vice versa will be. Just focus on the bold words. Don't need to remember the formula. If you are good in the F2 formula, then the rest is all enough. Come on, tell me, what is the shortcut for planning here? In sales, what's the shortcut for planning? I'm waiting for your answers. Revise versus original. So it's vice versa. Because in cost, actual cost being more is adverse, actual sales more is favorable. It's vice versa. So here it will be vice versa. So this is R versus O, and this is A versus R. Getting the point? So what you learned in cost will be opposite in sales. In cost, the planning was O versus R. Here, the planning is R versus O. In cost, the operational was R versus A. R versus A. Okay? But in sales, the operational is A versus R. Actual versus revise. Are you getting the point, friends? And if you remember this, you can easily figure out favorable and adverse answers. And I'll show you right now. Quickly. Let's see for volume. For volume, it's what? Revise versus original. For planning, actual versus revise. For operational, the key point is R versus O and A versus R for sales. It's opposite to cost. It's opposite to cost. Agreed, right? Price variance indicates selling price differences. Volume variance indicates sales units differences. Difference between actual and budgeted. So let's apply this. Before I move towards the past paper, I want quick answers from you people. Quick answers from you people. I am testing you guys, okay? Are you ready? It's a 2-minute test. Are you ready? Everyone tell me, are you ready? So let's see. Do you pass the test or you fail the test? For cost, what is the shortcut for planning? For cost, what is the shortcut for planning? Tell me. For cost, what is the shortcut for planning? O versus R. Exactly. For cost, what is the shortcut for operational? For cost, what is the shortcut for operational? R versus A. Perfect. For sales, what is the shortcut for planning? For sales, what is the shortcut for planning? R versus O. And what's the shortcut for operational? For sales? A versus R. Perfect. You pass. Let's start the question. Marcus manages the production and sales department for product MN. Marcus has been asked to attend a meeting with the company's finance director to explain the results for product MN in the last quarter. Now listen, whenever you are reading the scenario, my friends, listen. Try to find the factors outside control of operational team. Whenever you are reading the scenario, try to find factors which are outside the control of the operational managers, like sales manager, like production manager, like purchase manager. Whenever you find factors which are outside the control, so remember, these managers will not be held responsible for those. These managers will not be held responsible for those. And which means for those, we need what? We need revised standard. It's another $1 million technique. Today is a day of $1 million only. This is another $1 million technique. When you read the scenario, find the factors for which the operational team is not responsible. And once you think, okay, these are the factors for which they are not responsible, just revise the standard for those. The reason is because they are not responsible for those. So this is another $1 million technique. While reading the scenario, look for the factors that are uncontrollable for operational team. And once you find it, just revise the standard for those. So let's move on. Have a good look here. We have revenue 65 per unit, material kg and the rate, labor hours and the rate, variable and fixed. There was no opening closing inventory. Let's test here. Are you all with me? Guys, are you all with me? I'll ask you the questions, you will reply me. Keep these $1 million things in mind, these two. Okay? Marcus is responsible for production and sales. So Marcus is the operational manager. Marcus is what? Operational manager. Marcus is angry about having to attend the meeting as he has no involvement in setting the original budget. Okay, this is so good. Marcus is upset. He's saying, why should I be there? He believes that the adverse results are due to falling circumstances which are beyond his control. Marcus says, this is beyond my control. Let's see. You decide what is in the control of Marcus and what is not in the control of Marcus. Okay, are you ready? So let's start. A decision by the company's board to increase wages meant that actual labor rate per hour was 25% higher than the budget. This decision was made in response to a request by the production department to enable it to meet a large one-off customer order in last quarter. Come on. Is this controllable for Marcus or not? This decision was taken by the board. Is Marcus responsible for this or not? Come on, tell me. Controllable for Marcus? Controllable for operational team or not? The answer is, this is controllable for Marcus. Why? Why? Because who requested? It's the production department. They requested and Marcus is responsible. What a $1 million technique this is that you need to follow, my friends. This will make your life easier and you will give me, good wishes for that. So, production department requested for that. So, Marcus is responsible. So, if Marcus is responsible, this means standard will not be revised. Okay? Standard will not be revised. So, no revision. Second, due to closure of a key supplier, the company agreed to a contract with an alternative supplier to pay 6% more per kg than budgeted price for material. The actual cost per kg was 4.4. Come on. Marcus is responsible for what? Production and sales. Does this include purchase as well? Does this include purchase as well? No, it does not include purchase. This means this is uncontrollable for Marcus. This is uncontrollable for Marcus because Marcus is the production manager. So not responsible. Marcus is not responsible for this. And when Marcus is not responsible, this is something outside the control of Marcus. So what we should do? Should we revise the standard or not, guys? Should we revise the standard or not? Come on, tell me. This is uncontrollable for Marcus. Should we revise the standard or not? Say yes or no. Yes. Yes, we should revise the standard. We should revise the standard because if something is not in the control, you should revise it. BB, it's very simple. Purchasing is done by purchase manager. Purchase manager agreed for the alternative supplier. So do you think purchase manager actions will be the responsibility for the production one? No, never. Simple. Okay. Purchase manager should be responsible for this, not production manager. So for production manager, the standard should be revised. Okay. Now, difficult economic conditions meant that the last test of your people, difficult economic condition meant that market demand for MN was lower than 10%. Do you think Marcus, do you think this is under the control of Marcus? Do you think this is controllable for Marcus or not? Come on. For Marcus, this is controllable or not? Tell me, everyone, for this Marcus is responsible or not? The answer is no. For Marcus, this is not controllable. This is outside the control. And when it is outside the control, should we revise the standard or not? Yes, we should. We should revise the standard. So it's simple. Remember, when factors are outside the control of the manager, you need to revise the standard because that old standard is a one that will show unrealistic performance. So whenever the factors are not in the control of the manager, you should revise the standard. But when things are controllable, you should not revise the standard. So did you understand this $1 million technique, my friends? Are you all getting what I'm trying to say? This is very simple. This will make your life really easy. So whenever the standard, whenever you see the factors are not controllable for the managers, just revise the standard. So now, let's start calculating. Let's start with first, what is market share variance? So it's very simple. Let me just tell you one thing. For sales volume, planning means market size. Planning means market size and operational means market share. These are the terms that you need to remember for volume only. For volume only. I will extend the class 15 minutes more today as well, okay? So don't leave. Yesterday few people left. In the last 15 minutes, we'll have a quick session of section A test. We'll have a quick section A test. I'll take a quick 15-minute test, okay, of section A. So don't leave. I'll end the class at 11:15 dot. I hope you all are with me. This is just for you people. I'm extending my time just for you people. So please don't leave. Okay. Coming back to So market share is what? Operational variance. Market share is what? Operational variance. So are we all ready for the calculation? Yes, we are. So should we revise the standard? We should. What is the original standard of volume? Original standard of volume is what? Let's look in the question. It's 40,000. 40,000 original standard. Should we revise it? Yes, we should revise this. So what is the revised standard? It says 6%, sorry, it says 10% lower. 10% lower, which means let's multiply this with 90%. So this becomes what? 36,000. So this is the revised standard, 36,000. And for this reduction, Marcus is not responsible. Okay? Marcus is not responsible. As Marcus is responsible for production and sales both, so Marcus is not responsible for this area. Okay? So let's work out the variance. Now, let's use the shortcut, friends. Are you ready for the shortcut? In sales, this is operational, right? This is operational. So what was the shortcut? Can you tell me? What was the shortcut? Can you tell me? For operational. A versus R. Actual. What is actual? Wow, it's so easy. Actual is 38,000. Actual is 38,000. What is revised? What is revised? Revised is 36,000. Revised is 36,000. Okay, revised is 36,000 multiplied by what? Multiplied by the standard profit or contribution. See, you can see here actual sales minus revised sales into profit or contribution. Profit or contribution. So what I have to use here? The question says the company uses marginal costing system, and when it says marginal, so you have to use what? As I mentioned, we have to use contribution. Contribution. So I need standard contribution. I need standard contribution, right? So can you work out that for me? Yes, we can work out standard contribution. See how? Selling price 65 minus material cost 5.2 kg into 4 per kg. This is material cost minus labor cost 2 hours into 8 per hour. Labor cost, okay, minus variable cost 2 hours into 4 per hour. Only variable, not fixed. Come on, can anyone of you help me out? What is the contribution? Standard contribution. Revenue minus material minus labor minus variable. So the standard contribution per unit now will be how much, friends? It will be 20.2. 20.2 is the standard contribution. Everyone happy? Do you think I'm successful in making this easy for you people? Okay, so 20.2. And what is the answer? I don't know the answer. The answer is 40,000. 40,000. Is this positive or negative? Come on. Positive or negative? This is the best thing about my formulas. Positive, negative. It's positive. Positive means what? Favorable. Positive means what? Favorable. Mathematically, it's positive. It's favorable. Logically, it's also favorable because actual sold more than the revised. Actual sold more than the revised. So mathematically, it's favorable. Logically, it's favorable, and you can find out the answer. Okay. Why contribution? I did mention before, it's marginal costing, my friend. So it's 40,400, right? Yeah. And A is the answer. Okay. Okay, guys. Clear? So now it's time to work out adverse material price planning variance. It's material. It's a cost. Can you tell me for cost, what was the shortcut for cost planning? For cost planning, what was the shortcut? The shortcut was, for cost, the shortcut for planning was O versus R. O versus R. So are we required to revise the standard for material? Yes, we are. Because for Marcus, it's not controllable. What is the original standard for material price? So let's have a look. Material price original standard is how much? 4 per kg. This is original. Okay. So 6% they paid more, and Marcus is not responsible for this 6% more, right? So it's $4 per kg. So what is revised here? What is revised? Multiplied by 1.06, $4.4 per kg. $4.4 per kg. No, sorry. 4, I just wrote it wrong. 4.24 per kg. So it's 4.24 per kg. Okay? 4.24 per kg. Is this okay, everyone? Right? So revised. Now it's very simple. Original is 4 minus revised, it's 4.2, and 4.2 into what? Actual quantity. Let me just quickly show you that. Actual quantity, material price, original versus revised into actual quantity. Actual quantity is what I need. Actual quantity is what I need. I know Marcus is responsible for operational only, Abu Bakr, but they are asking you to work out. So why can't you work out then? You have to show the workings. Because he's not responsible, that is why only we are working out planning and operational. Okay. So actual we need. So how will you find actual, friends? How will you find actual? It's simple. We have actual cost here. 836 is the actual. Okay. And what is the actual per kg? It's 4.4. Actual cost per kg is 4.4. So can you work out the actual quantity? Yes, we can. 836,000 divided by 4.4 will give you actual quantity. And like this, you can work out the answer. Okay. Actual quantity. Actual cost is 4.4 per kg, that is given here. Now, what is the answer? Mathematically tell me. Mathematically, is the answer positive or negative? Mathematically, the answer is positive or negative? The answer mathematically is in minus, and when it's minus, it's adverse. Mathematically, the answer is in minus, and when it's in minus, it's adverse. Is this clear? Is this clear? Mathematically, it's minus, is adverse. Now let's discuss logically. Logically, why logically this is adverse? So it's very simple. You tell me, do you trust revised standard or original standard? Come on, reply. This is how we find out planning variances, favorable, adverse logically. Listen carefully what I'm saying. This is how you gauge every time. Do you trust revised or original? Do you trust revise or original? So you trust revise, and you see revise is increasing. Revise is increasing. So you just focus on revise when assessing planning variances. When assessing planning variances, focus on revise. Revise is increasing. If revise is increasing, so cost will increase. If revised standard is increasing, this means the cost will increase. And when the cost increase, this is adverse. This is adverse. Hope you understood. So whenever you need to assess planning variance logically, that what is favorable, adverse, focus on revise. This is cost. So revise is increasing, which means cost will increase. This is adverse. Okay. So I hope this is clear. Mathematically, it's adverse. Answer is in minus, and logically is also adverse because revise is increasing. Now, how did I work out? It's very simple. I did mention before, actual cost of material 836,000 divided by actual price per kg of 4.4 gave me actual quantity. Gave me actual quantity. Okay. Because I need actual kgs. I need actual kgs. Friend, you need to recall the formulas. Actual kgs is used. Now, labor rate, operational variance. What was the original standard for rate? What was the original standard for rate? So it was 8. Okay, it was 8. Now, 8 was the rate per hour. Are we required to revise it? Are we required to revise it? Come on, tell me. Are we required to revise it? Operational rate. So, was this in the control of the production manager? Yes, this was under the control of production manager. And when it was in the control, we will not revise. We will not revise. So this means revise will remain same at 8 per hour. At 8 per hour. Okay. No need to revise. This was because this was in his control. Okay. So what's the formula of operational? What's the formula of operational labor? It's a cost. Okay. So it's R versus A. What is revised? It's 8. What is actual? What is actual? Do you know the actual? So yes, we do know the actual. It says the actual labor rate per hour was 25% higher than the budgeted. 25% higher than the budgeted. Actual was 25% higher than the budgeted, which means multiply this with 1.25 and you will get actual is 10. Actual is 10. Actual is 10. Are you getting this point? Actual is 10. So, as per the original formula, labor rate revised versus actual into actual hours. Actual hours I need. Actual hours I need. So can we work out actual hours? Yes, we can. How much is the labor cost? How much is the labor cost? 798,000. 798,000 is the labor cost. And I'll divide this with actual rate per hour. So 798,000 divided by 10 will give me what? Will give me actual hours. Will give me actual hours. Okay? So it's R versus A. And what is the answer? What is the answer? The answer is B. No. Are you getting a positive answer or a negative answer? Positive or a negative answer? Mathematically, it's negative. And when it's negative, it's what? Adverse. Simple rule. Quickly, you can decide. When the answer comes in minus, using my formulas, okay? Using my formulas. So it's minus, and minus means adverse. And it's obvious. Actual is more. Actual is more. So it's adverse. It's adverse. Actual is more. So mathematically, it's adverse. And logically, it's also adverse. So friends, the key thing, $1,000,000 point was, while reading the scenario, look at the factors which are uncontrollable for operational team. When those are uncontrollable for operational team, just revise the standard. Is this rule okay? Is this $1,000,000 point okay with you people? Come on, tell me. Is this okay? Are you understanding? Is it become easier for you or not? Is my struggle to make things easy is getting successful or not? Now, quickly, which of the following would explain a labor efficiency planning variance? Quickly. A change in employment legislation requiring staff to take longer rest. Yes, this results in efficiency planning variance. Customer demanding higher quality products leading to change in product design. Will this lead to planning variance? Yes, because this will require more hours now. Okay. The learning effect for labor being estimated incorrectly in production budget. Do you think learning curve will have an impact on planning and operational? Yes. If you fail to figure out the learning curve impact, this will affect the variance and you need to bifurcate into planning and operational. So yes, answer is D. All these things will have an impact on planning efficiency variance. Now there's a very good question naming Bokko. I will share this on WhatsApp. This question is learning curve with planning and operational. Learning curve with planning and operational. Okay, learning curve with planning and operational. So do solve this one. Okay, a change in employment legislation requiring staff to take longer rest. The longer rest they take means the standard should be revised. Majid, the standard should be revised. So if standard will be revised, so planning variance will arise. Which of the following statement regarding problems of introducing a system of planning operational is or are true? Solve question 30. Statement 1. Operation managers may argue that variance are due to original budget being unrealistic. Is this statement true? Yes, the first statement is true. The first statement is true because managers will very simply say that the original standard is wrong. Whenever the variance comes adverse, operational team will directly blame the planning team. Operational team will say, okay, this is not my fault. They will say the budget is wrong. So this is the problem of planning and operational, that the operational team easily disowns the variance answers. Second, threat is what? Operation managers may seek to blame uncontrollable external factors for the variances. May seek to blame uncontrollable external factors for the variances. This is also true. Operational managers, yes, will say that this variance is adverse because of uncontrollable factors. This is also true. They will try to blame the factors that they think resulted in variances. So yes, this is a possibility that they will take, they may seek to blame uncontrollable external factors for the variances. This is also true. So the correct answer is C. Both are the risk of reducing planning and operation. So I hope this is all clear to every one of you. I hope my method, understanding, techniques are working for you people. And that's the best part I want. I hope things are getting good. Okay. Now, just be with me for a few minutes. Let's have a quick question answer session. Just 3 to 4 quick questions. Don't leave. Okay, just wait. Okay, now let's have a quick question answer session of section A. Just to refresh our understanding, let's have a quick question answer session for section A. Objective test questions. There are 7 types of questions that will be tested. Let's start. Mark whether the following statement about incremental budgets are true or false. Uneconomic activities are avoided. Is it true or false? Come on, tell me, true or false? False. It is quick and easy to prepare. True. Is it suitable for organization that operates in a stable environment where figures are not expected to change significantly? True. It is an inefficient form of budgeting that encourages slack and wasteful spending. True. Incremental budget helps remove previous problems and inefficiencies. False. This is known as hot area question of your paper. Hot area question. Okay. This is hot area question. If you need to practice from this platform, you can just WhatsApp me and let you know. Okay. Now, where incremental budget is most suitable. Okay, where integrated budget is most suitable? Can you tell me? In stable conditions. Yes. Good. Good. Let's move on. Quickly tell me. Budgets, targets are set at senior management level for the organization as a whole and for each major department or activity within the organization. Which of the following correctly defines the above statement? Bottom up, zero base, performance based, top down. The answer is what? The answer is what? Top down. Exactly. Senior management prepares the budget, it's top down. Okay. Now, I need to move towards this question. This is a very good question. Which of the following statement could properly explain an adverse material usage variance? Be fast and tell me the answer. And at the same time indicate poor performance of the production manager. This is a very good question. First, this question is known as multiple response. Okay, this is multiple response. This is not an MCQ. There could be more than one right answers. So, selection of a new supplier offering similar quality for lower prices. Is this part of the production manager's performance? Tell me. No. No. Prices has no connection with production manager. Second, inadequate training of newly recruited staff in production department. Is this the right answer? And for which the manager is responsible? Yes. Machine breakdown due to delays in annual machine maintenance, annual maintenance schedule. Is this the right answer? But is this the responsibility of production manager? Okay. Reduce quality materials bought. Is this the right answer? No, this is not the right answer. It relates to production. Change in production process causing extra losses of material. Extra losses of material. Is this the responsibility of the production manager? Yes. Okay. So material usage variance coming adverse. So these are the reasons, not the second one. Third one also is not the answer because third one will have an impact on efficiency. We are talking about usage variance. Okay. So two are the answers. Third is not the answer. It's second and last one. So I hope this is clear to all of you. If you need access to this practice platform, do let me know on the WhatsApp group. Let's wind up the session today. And I hope that today's session would be very productive one. It did help you to solve certain definite issues. I hope this is all clear to all of you. It's time to say goodbye to all of you. And I hope you like the techniques. This is a WhatsApp group link. You can see, do join the WhatsApp group ASAP so that I can share the plan. My number is also given below. If you can't join the WhatsApp group, just note this number, send me a message. I will send you the invitation. Before I quit, give me a quick feedback. What do you think? How the session went? How the session went? Did you learn things or not? Were the techniques good or not? Shortcuts, new techniques were good or not? $1,000,000 points. $1,000,000 points. Okay, that's good. So do give your feedback to ACCA at the end of the video. Do give your feedback to ACCA for sure. See you in the tomorrow session with decision making. Very, very important decision making. Okay. Thank you very much. Stay blessed. See you then. Bye.